Have you ever woken up and felt like life has passed you by? Like you've been running, but you don't even know where to? That gnawing feeling inside that whispers, "You were meant for more than this," but the noise around you is so loud, you've forgotten how to hear your own voice. That's not just burnout. That's the realization that your time, your most precious currency, has been spent on things that never filled you, never built you, never protected you. And today, we're taking it all back. Let's start here. Ask yourself, who's really controlling your life? Because most people are living on autopilot, waking up, reacting to the world, checking their phones before they even drink water, scrolling, comparing, responding, not deciding. You are not deciding your life, you're reacting to it. That's how a decade slips through your fingers while you're just trying to get through the day. And let's be real. There are people in your life right now who are draining you, quietly, subtly, but consistently. They guilt you, they need you, they distract you, and they're always just going through something. And because you care, because you're kind, because you want to be a good person, you stay, you show up, you give, and they keep taking. But here's the truth: empathy without boundaries is self-betrayal. Being available to everyone is the fastest way to become invisible to yourself. Most people are not living, they're existing. They're operating like machines on autopilot, stuck in a loop that looks like life but feels like survival. They wake up, reach for their phones before they even open both eyes, scroll through other people's lives, other people's noise, and start their day already behind. They go through routines not because they're building something, but because it's what they've always done. No intention, no awareness, just movement. And then they wonder why they feel empty, why they feel disconnected. It's because when you don't choose your direction, life will choose it for you. And life doesn't care where it takes you. It just moves. You have to understand, if you're not actively creating your life, you're being led. Led by deadlines that aren't yours, by values you never chose, by people who don't care if you reach your potential or not. The reason a decade slips through your fingers isn't because time moved too fast. It's because you weren't fully present for any of it. You didn't decide how your day would go, who got your attention, what your focus would be. You just woke up and responded to texts, to emails, to opinions, to pressure, and every time you live in reaction instead of intention, you are handing over your minutes, your months, your years to something outside of yourself. That is how we lose our lives while still being alive. That's how a powerful, intelligent, capable person forgets who they are, because they've been living by default instead of by design. And if that's you, then today, right now, you make a new decision. You take the wheel back. You don't get to reclaim a decade by doing more. You do it by waking up, fully, and choosing to live on purpose. Your time is not just hours on a clock. It is your life force. It's your energy. It's your one non-renewable resource. Once it's gone, it's gone. You don't get to hit rewind. You don't get to ask for a refund. And yet so many people treat it like it's disposable. They give it away casually, as if it costs them nothing. They hand it to people who drain them, to tasks that lead nowhere, to conversations that numb them instead of fuel them. You wouldn't leave your front door wide open for strangers to come in and take what they want, so why do you do it with your time? Every time you say yes to something meaningless, you say no to something essential. Every time you spend hours scrolling, arguing, worrying about things you can't control, you're not just losing time. You're giving someone else the power to control your mind. And the worst part, most people don't even realize it's happening. They think being busy means they're being productive. They confuse movement with progress. But running fast in the wrong direction will never get you where you want to go. Your time has value. And when you treat it like it's priceless, other people will start treating it that way too. But that respect has to start with you. If you don't guard your time, someone else will use it for their benefit. That means setting boundaries. That means protecting your schedule like your survival depends on it, because it does. Because your future, your goals, your peace of mind, they all live in the space you carve out for them. And if you're not fiercely intentional with your time, those dreams won't die in one dramatic moment. They'll disappear slowly, in small, quiet, daily compromises that add up to a life you never wanted. Let's be honest. Some of the people draining you the most are the ones you care about. That's what makes it so complicated. You want to be supportive, to be kind, to be available. You tell yourself it's the right thing to do. But here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud: empathy without boundaries is self-betrayal. You cannot keep pouring into people who only take from you and expect to stay whole. You cannot keep showing up for everyone and expect to have anything left for yourself. You feel guilty for saying no. You feel selfish for putting yourself first. But what's actually selfish is expecting someone to sacrifice their peace, their energy, their growth, just to keep someone else comfortable. That is not kindness. That's slow destruction. You weren't put on this earth to be everyone's emotional dumping ground. You were not born to carry other people's chaos while yours goes ignored. And just because someone is struggling doesn't give them a free pass to pull you under too. You have to start asking who actually adds value to your life and who just adds noise, who respects your boundaries and who only respects their access to you. Some people don't want help, they want attention. They don't want solutions, they want sympathy. And they'll keep coming back to you again and again because you make it easy for them not to change. But at some point, your healing requires you to stop enabling other people's damage. That's not cruel, it's necessary. You're not abandoning anyone. You're finally choosing not to abandon yourself. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with who you are or where you're going, you're not just being polite. You're making a trade. You're trading your clarity for confusion, your peace for pressure, your potential for approval. And here's the part that stings most of the time. You're doing it to please people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared tomorrow. You say yes to avoid confrontation. You say yes so you won't feel guilty. You say yes because you're afraid of being misunderstood. But while you're making everyone else comfortable, your future is being pushed further and further out of reach. People pleasing is not a personality trait. It's a defense mechanism. It's what we do when we've been taught that being liked is more important than being respected, that keeping the peace matters more than keeping your power. But the cost of that peacekeeping is enormous. It's your time. It's your energy. It's your ability to show up for yourself. And if you're constantly saying yes just to avoid disappointing others, then you've already said no to becoming the person you were meant to be. You don't need permission to protect your path. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing your own well-being. If someone gets angry when you set a boundary, that's not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that they were benefiting from your silence. And you have to ask yourself, for how long have I been sacrificing myself on the altar of someone else's comfort? Because when you keep choosing everyone else over yourself, eventually, you forget what choosing yourself even looks like. You start shrinking to fit in rooms you've outgrown. You start playing small so other people don't feel insecure. And that's not loyalty. That's self-abandonment dressed up as kindness. You weren't meant to dim your light to make others feel okay in the dark. Distractions don't always look dangerous. They don't come at you like threats. They come wrapped in comfort, in convenience, in quick doses of dopamine that feel harmless in the moment. But don't let the soft edges fool you. These are the quiet killers of your dreams. They don't crash into your life like a storm. They sneak in silently, one click at a time. A 5-minute scroll becomes an hour. One episode turns into 3. A meaningless conversation lingers in your head all day. And while you're entertaining all of this noise, your goals are waiting in the background, ignored, starved, and slowly fading from view. You want to get a decade of your life back. Then you need to stop underestimating how much these distractions are costing you. Every time you pick up your phone to scroll without purpose, you're not relaxing. You're training your mind to crave escape. You're teaching yourself to avoid discomfort, to numb instead of solve, to compare instead of build. And the more you do it, the more you chip away at your own discipline. Until one day, you realize you can't sit still without reaching for something to distract you. You can't focus for 5 minutes without checking who liked your last post. You're constantly chasing stimulation but starving for direction. And here's the hard truth. These distractions aren't just wasting your time. They are rewiring your brain. They are hijacking your ability to think deeply, to be present, to focus. The average person touches their phone over 2,000 times a day. Do you know what that does to your attention span? To your ability to sit with a hard task, to solve a problem, to finish what you start? You become addicted to hits of entertainment and validation, and you start avoiding the things that require real effort. You start avoiding the very things that would change your life if you had the courage to stay with them. Now look around you. How many people do you see who are constantly busy, but not getting anywhere? Always in motion, always doing something, but when you really look, they're spinning in circles. Because being busy is not the same as being effective. You can run fast and still be going nowhere. You can respond to every message, comment on every post, sit in every meeting, and still not be any closer to your purpose. Distractions give you the illusion of progress, but they don't build anything real. They steal your time in exchange for nothing. And if you're not careful, they will steal your ambition too. You want to be exceptional, then you have to build a level of focus that makes people uncomfortable. You have to get ruthless about what you let into your world. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every headline, not every notification, not every trending topic. Your brain is not a garbage bin for other people's chaos. And you don't need to know what everyone else is doing every second of the day. You need to know what you're doing, where you're going, and what it's going to take to get there. And don't get it twisted. Focus is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters and cutting everything else. You think multitasking is a skill. It's not. It's a trap. You're not getting more done. You're doing everything worse. You're not being efficient. You're being distracted, fragmented, scattered. You're exhausting your brain on things that don't move the needle, and that's exactly how time disappears. Not in one big loss, but in 1,000 small moments you gave away without even noticing. So how do you reclaim that time? You start by choosing discomfort over distraction. Because the truth is, most of us use distractions to avoid something. You don't want to face the difficult task, the uncomfortable conversation, the lonely silence, so you run to the scroll, the snack, the series. But growth doesn't live in comfort. It lives in the places you avoid. It lives in the silence you're scared of. You have to get brave enough to sit in your own mind without trying to escape it. You have to get bold enough to confront the hard thing instead of buffering it with entertainment. Build discipline, that's your edge. Discipline is what allows you to choose long-term results over short-term relief. It's what keeps you grounded when everything around you is trying to pull your attention. And no, discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Day by day, choice by choice. Every time you turn off the noise and focus, you are strengthening it. Every time you finish the task, instead of bouncing to something easier, you're reinforcing who you are. And that matters, because confidence doesn't come from hype, it comes from evidence, from proof, from those quiet moments when no one is watching and you still choose to show up for yourself. Look, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to eliminate every distraction overnight, but you do have to become conscious of what's eating your time. You have to become intentional. Ask yourself, what am I actually building today? What am I giving my energy to? What's pulling me away from the person I'm trying to become? You owe yourself that kind of honesty, because without it, you'll keep living days that don't belong to you. You'll keep losing hours that could have been spent writing that book, launching that project, getting stronger, getting sharper, becoming unshakable. This isn't about hustle culture. This isn't about doing more just to impress people. This is about reclaiming your power. This is about deciding that your attention is too valuable to waste, that your purpose is too sacred to dilute, that your future deserves more than your leftovers. You can't build an extraordinary life with ordinary focus. You can't rise if you're always reacting. And you sure as hell can't lead if you're constantly distracted. So shut the door, put the phone down, turn off the noise, get uncomfortable, get quiet, and get to work, not for applause, not for approval, but because you know exactly what's at stake. Because you're done giving away your life in tiny pieces. Because you're done letting distractions steal years you'll never get back. This is how you win, one focused moment at a time. This is how you get those 10 years back, not by doing more, but by doing what matters with everything you've got. You keep telling yourself that if you just had more time, you'd finally get your life together. You'd start the business, get in shape, fix the relationship, work on yourself. You say things like, "I'm just too busy. I don't have enough hours in the day. I'll do it when things calm down." But here's the truth. You don't need more time. You need fewer distractions, more clarity, and the guts to stop lying to yourself about what you're really prioritizing. Everybody gets the same 24 hours. The difference between people who build and people who break isn't time. It's focus. It's the ability to say, "This is what matters, and everything else can wait." The real issue is not your schedule. It's your attention. It's where you allow your mind to wander, where you let other people pull you, what you let steal your mental bandwidth. Most of your energy isn't going to your purpose. It's being blood dry by things you should have cut off a long time ago. You've trained your brain to stay busy but avoid the hard stuff. That to-do list you love checking off. Be honest. Is it filled with things that actually move your life forward, or is it just noise that makes you feel productive? You answer every email, attend every meeting, reply to every message like it's urgent, but your dreams sit untouched, ignored, on the back burner. You're choosing what's easy and immediate over what's meaningful and lasting. And you tell yourself you're managing, but managing is not building. Managing is surviving. And you were not made just to survive. Clarity is what cuts through the chaos, but you don't get clarity from thinking about it. You get clarity from doing the work, from getting in the room, even when you're unsure, from starting before you feel ready, from saying no to what's irrelevant so you can say yes to what's essential. And clarity is not always convenient. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you approval. It will require you to walk away from things that look good but feel wrong. But without clarity, you're just spinning your wheels, always exhausted, never aligned. You have to get brutally honest about what's eating your time and why you keep allowing it, because somewhere deep down, avoiding clarity is safer than facing what your life could really be. If you don't know what matters most, then you never have to take responsibility for not pursuing it. But once you do know, once you name it, claim it, see it clearly, you can't unsee it. Now you're responsible. Now, you have to rise, and that scares people, so they stay vague. They stay busy. They stay in someday. But someday is how you lose decades. You want your life back. You want your time back. Then get clear, get deliberate, get unshakably intentional. Strip away everything that's not aligned with the future you're trying to build. If it doesn't grow you, challenge you, sharpen you, or bring you peace, it doesn't belong. You've wasted enough time being available to everything and committed to nothing. You don't need more time. You need to stop wasting the time you already have, because clarity without action is just a fantasy. And every moment you hesitate to own your life is another moment you hand it over to someone else. Fear is the quiet puppeteer behind so many of your choices, and most of the time, you don't even realize it's pulling the strings. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It tells you to wait. It tells you it's not the right time. It convinces you that you need more preparation, more validation, more certainty. So you stall, you overthink. You plan to start tomorrow, next week, next year, until you wake up and realize that 10 years have passed and you're still in the same place, still telling yourself the same story. And the worst part, fear wears disguises. It shows up as perfectionism. I can't launch it until it's flawless. It shows up as procrastination. I'm just too busy right now. It shows up as comparison. I'm not as good as them yet. But let's call it what it really is. You're afraid. Afraid of failing, afraid of looking foolish, afraid of being judged, afraid of trying and it not working. But here's the thing. Success isn't about the absence of fear. It's about what you do despite it. Fear doesn't go away. You just stop letting it dictate your life. Most people won't admit how much of their life is shaped by fear. They stay in jobs that drain them, in relationships that shrink them, in patterns that break them, because even though it hurts, it's familiar. And fear loves familiarity. It will convince you that safety is more important than freedom, that comfort matters more than growth. And if you buy into that, you will never know what you're capable of. You'll spend your life avoiding risk instead of creating your legacy. You think fear is protecting you, but it's robbing you. It's stealing your moments, your voice, your confidence, your time. Every day you listen to it, you give it more authority, and every day you silence yourself to stay small, you build a cage that gets harder to escape. Eventually, that cage starts to feel like home. You start to believe that this is just how life is. That dreaming big is for other people. That confidence is something you either have or you don't. That you're too late, too broken, too behind. That is a lie. But fear is a master liar, and you've believed it for too long. Do you know where real power comes from? From doing the very thing that fear tells you not to. From stepping forward even when your voice shakes. From showing up when you're unsure. From trying again after the failure. Because every time you push through fear, you take back territory that was stolen from you. You build evidence that you're stronger than you thought. That you can handle hard things. That you are not fragile. You are fierce. But you don't become that version of yourself by staying comfortable. You become her by standing in the fire. And yes, you will be judged. People will misunderstand you. Not everyone will clap. But so what? The cost of living for their approval is your authenticity. And if you're living a life shaped by what they might think, you're not living your life. You're living a performance. And the longer you perform, the more disconnected you become from who you really are. Stop giving fear the keys to a future it has no business driving. You want to know the truth. Courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. Courage means you feel the fear, and you move anyway. You stop negotiating with it. You stop letting it run your day. You stop asking it for permission. You look it dead in the eye and say, "You don't get to choose my life anymore." Because the longer you wait for fear to go away, the longer you delay the life that's meant for you. And you can't afford to keep waiting. Not one more year, not one more month, not one more day. You keep waiting for the perfect moment, like it's going to walk into your life wrapped in a sign that says, "Now is the time." But let me tell you something real. The perfect moment is a lie. It's a myth your fear invented to keep you passive. It's the excuse that sounds the most reasonable while robbing you of the most time. You think you're being wise. You think you're being patient. But what you're actually doing is delaying your life under the illusion of readiness. You're waiting for clarity, for confidence, for permission. And while you wait, life keeps moving. Opportunities pass. People move on. That window you thought would always be open starts to close. There is no perfect time. Life doesn't pause while you overthink. It doesn't sit and wait for you to feel fully prepared. It doesn't stop the clock while you get your courage together. Time moves whether you move with it or not. And every second you wait for the right moment is a second you hand over your power. Perfection is not the goal. Momentum is. Clarity comes from doing, not thinking. Confidence comes from action, not theory. You don't find your voice by rehearsing in your head. You find it by using it even when it shakes. But I get it. Starting is scary. It's vulnerable. It exposes you. Once you take the first step, you can't hide behind excuses anymore. Now it's real. Now it's visible. And that's why so many people never begin. They're more afraid of being seen trying than they are of staying stuck. But listen closely, being seen trying is not weakness. It's power. It's evidence that you had the courage to step into the arena. Most people never even get there. They sit on the sidelines, critiquing others, clinging to their comfort zones, convincing themselves that it's not the right time. When the truth is, they're just scared to be seen before they're perfect. If you want to grow, you have to act before you feel ready. You have to decide that progress matters more than perfection. That taking the step, no matter how shaky, is always better than standing still in fear. Because when you act, you build. And when you build, you learn. And when you learn, you evolve. That's how you become who you're meant to be. Not by waiting for life to hand you the perfect set of conditions, but by creating movement in the middle of uncertainty. Let me ask you this, how many more years are you going to wait? How many more seasons will you sit on the sidelines of your own potential? How long will you keep saying, "Soon," "Someday," "When I'm ready," knowing deep down that you're stalling, that you're protecting your comfort more than your future? Because every day you don't start, the version of you that you could be gets pushed further away. And if that doesn't light a fire in you, then you're not being honest about what this is really costing you. You don't need more time. You need more courage. You need to stop planning and start doing. You need to stop waiting for a guarantee and start betting on yourself. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to move. Do the thing, speak the truth. Launch the idea, make the call, walk away from what's breaking you. Step toward what scares you. You don't build a strong, unshakable life in theory. You build it in motion, in action, in the messy, imperfect, beautiful middle of risk. So stop waiting, stop rehearsing, stop hoping the fear goes away. It won't. But you will get stronger, you will get louder, you will get clearer, and you'll look back on this moment, the one where you finally said, "I'm done waiting," and realize that's where your real life began. Not when everything was perfect, but when you had the audacity to move anyway. You don't get to elevate your life without first examining what's weighing it down, and that means you need to stop pretending that everything and everyone around you is harmless. You need to do a brutal audit of your environment, your circle, your habits, your routines, and ask yourself one question: does this make me stronger or weaker? Is it familiar? Not is it comfortable? Not, have I known them forever? No, does this help me rise? Because if it doesn't, it doesn't belong, period. We're told to be kind, to be loyal, to be understanding, and yes, those values matter. But when kindness turns into people-pleasing, when loyalty turns into self-neglect, when understanding turns into tolerance for dysfunction, you've crossed a line. You're not being noble. You're being used. And the longer you keep things in your life that break you, confuse you, or keep you small, the longer you delay the life you're supposed to live. You don't get to become powerful while staying connected to what's draining you. Something has to go, and let's talk about the real cost. Because when you allow toxic people or destructive habits to stay, you don't just lose peace. You lose time, you lose energy, you lose yourself. You spend your hours recovering from conversations that shattered your confidence. You waste your mornings trying to reset after a night spent drowning in self-sabotage. You build momentum only to let it all collapse because you keep inviting chaos back and through open doors you refuse to close. That's not bad luck. That's a lack of boundaries. And boundaries are not walls. They're protection. They're clarity. They are the line between your old life and your next level. Cutting people off doesn't make you heartless. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. Walking away doesn't make you rude. It makes you awake. It makes you deliberate. It means you finally see what's costing you too much. And that clarity, that fierce, uncomfortable clarity, is what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. You don't get to evolve and keep everything the same. Growth requires loss. It requires letting go. And yes, it will hurt. Yes, it will be lonely sometimes. But it will be worth it. Because you cannot invite peace and progress into a space that's still cluttered with drama, excuses, and patterns that belong to the version of you've outgrown. Stop negotiating with what you know is breaking you. You don't need another red flag. You don't need another sleepless night. You don't need one more reason to do what you already know you need to do. You just need to stop waiting for it to feel good. It won't, but it will set you free. You weren't meant to carry what you've been carrying. You've been strong for too long in places that didn't deserve your strength. Now it's time to be strong in a different way. By saying, I choose me, not just the parts of you that everyone likes, but the parts that are bold enough to walk away from what no longer serves the mission. This is the work. This is the shift. Not more affirmations, not more vision boards, but decisive, bold, unflinching action. You cleanse your life by confronting what's toxic, not coddling it. You protect your future by refusing to water relationships or behaviors that poison your spirit. And if that makes people uncomfortable, let them be uncomfortable. You didn't come this far to babysit dysfunction. You came to rise. And anything that keeps you from rising has no place in your next chapter. No one is coming to build your life for you. No one is waking up in the morning thinking about how to make your dreams happen. And the longer you keep waiting for support, waiting for motivation, waiting for someone to recognize your potential, the more time you waste standing still in a life that doesn't reflect your power. You can't outsource your transformation. You can't delegate your discipline. This is your responsibility, yours alone, You keep saying things like, I just need someone to push me. I just need the right opportunity. I'm waiting for the sign. But let's get real. The sign is already here. The moment is already happening. You're breathing, you're alive. That's the sign. That's the permission slip. You've been given a life. And what you do with it is on you. You want different. Then move different. Talk different. Show up like you're serious, even when no one's watching. Especially when no one's watching. Because the truth is, building the life you want isn't glamorous. It's not one big breakthrough. It's not viral success. It's not applause and accolades. It's waking up when you don't feel like it. It's doing the work no one sees. It's choosing consistency over comfort, integrity over ease. It's saying no to the easy road and yes to the one that's going to require more from you than you ever thought you had in you. And then finding out you do have it in you. And if you're waiting for someone to come in and drag you to your goals, you'll be waiting forever. You think champions are built with cheerleaders. No. Champions are built in silence. When no one is clapping. When no one is checking in. When it's just you and the mirror and the decision to either stay the same or get up and go again. And that mirror, it doesn't lie. It reflects the truth you already know. You've been giving half effort and calling it commitment. You've been calling hesitation, being thoughtful, and calling fear, being realistic. But deep down, you know you're capable of more, and the only person standing in the way is you. You want to take your life back. Then take back your word. Stop breaking promises to yourself. Stop talking big and living small. Show yourself that you can be trusted to follow through. Because once you do that, something shifts. You stop needing validation. You stop needing praise. You stop needing approval from people who wouldn't last one day walking in your shoes. You become your own engine, and that kind of self-respect. That kind of self-accountability. That's where real confidence comes from. Not a hashtag, a quote, but from keeping your word again and again and again. So no, it's not going to be easy. But it will be worth it. You've already sacrificed years to fear, to distractions, to pleasing people, to playing small. Enough. No more waiting, no more excuses. You don't need perfect conditions. You need relentless action. You don't need a savior. You need ownership. And the moment you decide that this life is yours to build, not theirs to give, you stop being a passenger. You get behind the wheel. And from there, everything changes. Because nothing is more dangerous, more powerful, more unstoppable than a person who stops blaming the world and starts backing themselves fully and without apology. So now you know. No more illusions. No more borrowed time. You don't need another year to figure it out. You don't need more motivation, more planning, or anyone's permission. You need a decision. A hard, unapologetic decision that your life, your one life, is too important to waste another minute on what drains you, delays you, distracts you, or defines you by someone else's standard. You want 10 years back. Then you fight for them, right now, in how you spend your next hour, your next day, your next choice. You stop waiting. You stop shrinking. You stop handing your power to fear, to people, to noise. Because the most powerful person in the room is the one who knows exactly what they're building, exactly what they're protecting, and exactly who they refuse to be anymore. Be that person. Starting now,